Hello, everybody. I'm NightNDayNick, and welcome to the stream. I have a couple of special guests with me. I have a friend of the show, host of The Real Pineapple, and my dear friend, Mr. Hunter. How's it going, man?
Hello, internets. good to see you, Nick. How you doing, man?
Yep. Also a special guest, Mr. Schuby Dubert. How's it going, man?
What's up, man? I'm so excited to talk about the Hannah Montana special with you guys. I watched it last night.
Yeah,
and you can change your hair, you can change your clothes, but you'll always find your way back home. So that is what we're talking about, right?
Well, there is another thing that dropped on Disney Plus, but you know what? I completely forgot about the Hannah Montana special. But
so why are we doing a podcast? Go watch it, man.
Yeah, but I came on to talk about because one of my favorite comic shows of the last, I'd say, well, let's say ever, with Daredevil. It came back a couple years ago with Daredevil Born Again, a revival season. It had a lot of production trouble and went through a huge creative overhaul, but it is back with season 2. In season 2, it has the new post creative overhaul. It has a bit more focused, and so far it's received a lot better reception. It feels like a lot more of what people. Oh, real quick before we get into season 2, what did everybody here think about season 1 of the show, if you've seen it, or the original run of Daredevil?
You can go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah. So, pardon me. So I enjoyed season 1 quite a bit.
Are you guys frozen?
No, but you are in and out a little bit.
You are in and out a tad. So I mean, I'll say I enjoyed Born Again season 1 quite a bit. It is definitely a Frankenstein of clearly, multiple ideas and what have you.
Yeah, you're in and out.
Oh wait, am I in that now? Am I? Okay. But I liked season 1. Wasn't in love with it. Probably go like low tune in, but I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be upfront and honest. I haven't actually gotten around to watching it yet. But I have been keeping up with like the story plot lines and everything. Like I am fully aware. My rule basically is if it's been out long enough for at least a week, that's full game. If the episode has been out for a week, that's fair game. I'm going to talk about, you guys can talk about it in front of me. However, I'm rewatching all the Netflix stuff right now. I'm on Luke Cage season 2. I'm watching it in release order.
Let's go.
So I'm on Luke Cage. Oh, are we talking about Let's Go about me watching Luke Cage or about Nick being back?
Both.
Bit of both.
Okay. So I'm on Luke Cage season 2. I love Daredevil. I think I agree with Nick. I wouldn't say that it's the best superhero show. That obviously belongs to Doom Patrol in my heart, but
I think
but Daredevil is a close second. I will not lie to you. So, but one thing that I am excited about this new season is we're getting Jessica Jones back, which Kristen Ritter. And I'm not going to lie. I think that the Netflix castings were some of the perfect. Like I want to see Finn Jones back. I want to see Mike Coulter back as well. So and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this, and I will give my outside perspective. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, for me with season 1 of Born Again, it kind of felt like it was a Frankenstein's monster between two very different shows that the post overhaul showrunners kind of had to piece together into a cohesive season of TV because initially, like from the premiere, from the pilot of it, it seems like it's basically going to be like the unofficial season 4 of the Netflix run of Daredevil, bringing back all the returning characters from season 3, bringing back Eldon Henson as Foggy, bringing back Deborah Ann Wool as Karen Page, and I think one of the bigger ones was bringing back Wilson Bethel as Bullseye. But then it completely drops a lot of those elements for the next like 7 or so episodes until the penultimate where, okay, all of that is kind of coming back now. And a lot of the stylistic choices that were set up in that pilot are now a focus. And now a lot of that is coming back to what is now the main show. And of course, season 1, we had Matt Murdock struggling with retirement as Daredevil in the face of Wilson Fisk running for mayor of New York, which that definitely doesn't have any parallels to real life now.
No, absolutely not. No,
Can't find it.
Yep, it's just completely going over my head. But yeah, Wilson Fisk seeing, because he's the Kingpin. He's like one of the Marvel street level big bads. And now he has more power than ever and is like empowering the anti-vigilante task force, which those definitely also doesn't have any real life parallels.
Right.
But
nope, absolutely
now
not.
we're getting back into the one of the show, and Daredevil fucking them the fuck up, and it is awesome every time it's on screen.
Yeah. And like I think the reason why you guys keep talking about how it's kind of like a Frankenstein monster, you guys are aware of why that is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because originally they had one writing team. They had one writing team, and then like halfway through the season, they got the original Netflix writers back on board. So that's why it's a little weird like that.
Yeah, which
I mean, some episodes in Born Again feel a lot more episodic instead of a serialized show, kind of like what the Netflix run was.
And that was also, if I'm not mistaken, Born Again was the first time Marvel actually sat down and was like, let's treat this like an actual TV show instead of making just a long movie and calling it a TV show.
Yeah. I think with the show, there's like a bottle episode in this bank that happens in season 1, and I know it's a very divisive episode. I really dig that episode a lot. I like the connection it has to Kamala Khan because Marvel. Well, I'll save that for my. I'll save that for my show. But seriously, use Kamala Khan more. Jesus Christ! But
best thing that they've done, yeah.
But I dug Matt. So I think one of the big. I don't even want to say an issue because it wasn't an issue for me, but I think with Daredevil Born Again season 1, it's probably like 65% Matt Murdock, 35% Daredevil. And and as someone who like really likes court shit, I really like that. I like seeing Matt having kind of his day-to-day and actually being in the courtroom. There's this one guy, this one lawyer who is back in season 2 here. I'm blanking on the character's name, but he's this he kind of looks like what's his name, David Stern from Home Alone. He kind of looks like that with like white facial hair. He's a fucking monster. He's such a scummy piece of shit, and like as soon as you see him, he like you get why women choose the bear. Like he just immediately
it's
gets
basically
off
it's because Matt is kind of on the run after the events of the previous season. Daredevil, he's with the anti-vigilante task force. He's basically become public enemy number 1. A lot of people that were arrested last season, you get a brief appearance here from Tony Dalton, who appeared in Hawkeye and is detained as the vigilante swordsman. And you see a counseling session between him and Heather Glenn from last season, and it is kind of horrifying the amount of power and just the stripping of human rights that the administration under Wilson Fisk is doing. And I think great.
Yeah.
We always hear this argument a lot with certain sections of the internet about comic books were much better when they weren't political. Okay, first off, all art is political.
Yep.
And second, I think the a great thing about the show is that it does draw those parallels to real life.
Yeah, to upset Nick, I've seen all of Daredevil season 2. I was
Fuck you.
lucky enough to get yeah, I know. I was lucky enough to get a screener for it. I will simply say it leans into the real world stuff to a point where it might be uncomfortable for viewers. Like if you didn't like it in season 1, you were not gonna like it here because it leans more into that shit. They show a montage of like the the Fist task force, and you see them like high-fiving kids and like acting like we're doing this for you, we're making the streets safer, in the way that you're just like, like it's so icky.
Getting too close to home.
Yeah, it's really and again, yeah, seriously, it leans into this shit in a way that I was like, God damn, like they are not. Honestly, to a point, I was surprised. Like it's kind of like when you are watching something like, we're watching something like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and like they're talking about like, oh, corrupt government, what's that? And you're kind of like, wait a minute, really? Like you're actually going to talk about this a little bit? Like,
oh, they're really hitting you on the head with it.
Yeah, and the thing.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish. I apologize.
Okay, I was gonna say real quick. It felt like they kind of watched the Penguin, and they're like, because Fisk is a monster in the first season. Do not misunderstand. There's some stuff that happened even in the first episode. You're like, you are such a fucking monster, and the show is very good from jump at reminding you, like, we love D'Onofrio. His portrayal is amazing. Kingpin's a piece of shit. He's a fucking hungry monster, and the way that he wields his power in this premiere really reminds you of that.
And even with the introduction of a new character who's played by Matthew Lillard, who it's kind of implied that he has connections to characters in Marvel that we have seen before with very high positions in the government. And he is so fun to watch every scene he's in, because he's just dog walking him politically. It's just kind of bringing up the parallels of Wilson Fisk to certain political figures, and that Wilson Fisk, compared to a lot of the people that I'm guessing Matthew Lillard's character deals with, Wilson Fisk is kind of small potatoes.
Yeah,
he is,
and he reminds him of it constantly.
Yeah, and what I was going to say earlier was when you guys were talking about how they're really hitting the nail on the head. Did you guys watch Young Justice by chance? Did you guys watch that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Remember when they had Lex Luthor just straight up quoting our president?
Yeah. I
like they did not even like go subtle. I mean, is it like that? Like they straight up said that. Like remember when they said they had Lex Luthor go, "I think there were good people on both sides." like legitimately saying word for word, bar for bar, everything that our president said. They had Lex Luthor saying. Is it kind of like that?
I will simply say, again, without spoiling anything, the more the season goes on, the more that dial gets turned up to a point that like it's not like it's not. There's a point, and you guys will know it when you get there, where there is no subtlety at all in terms.
That's
of
crazy.
The first season ends. The first season ends with them literally locking people in cages, and you're just
like I said, I know all the key points that happens in season 1, but feel free to spoil this for me, okay? Everyone listening to this, they've clearly already watched it, like they should have. So, go ahead. It's going to be a minute. By the time I actually get to it, like I said, I'm on season 2 of Luke Cage, and I'm watching in release order.
Yeah, you got a minute.
By the time I get there, I'm going to forget. I have ADHD bad. Okay,
so the fact that Punisher straight up tells the policeman, like, you're fucking cowards, you're pussies. Like he lays into them in a way that you're just like, oh, this was clearly someone's job to write this one speech, and they're like, oh, I got this. Like you don't need to like because he's right. He's 1,000% correct in the way that they're like, oh, we're big fans of I'm paraphrasing the comic, but he even says in the comics, I'm not a hero. You want a hero, worship
Follow
Steve
Cap.
Rogers. Yeah, and he's like, and he's 1,000% right. It's like, yeah, the Punisher is not by any means someone you should aspire to be, but the way he checks these policemen who have been committing these horrendous acts, it's amazing.
And I just love the fact that John Bernthal is literally one bad day from actually becoming the Punisher. And like, seriously, he is one nap away from just killing somebody. And I've seen you getting some rest. Boom.
God help the PA that he catches napping.
Yeah, but I love the fact that John Bernthal is just like, he is one bad day from actually becoming Frank Castle. And I think that plays a lot into it, like, because I just finished season 1, obviously, of Punisher. So, and he's got that one shot coming up, and he's going to be in Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Brand New Home, whatever it's going to be called. And Spider-Man Homeless. But like, I cannot wait to just see. I love the fact that from what I've seen, like I said, I'm on TikTok a lot. I've seen clips of this new episode. I love the fact that these characters that essentially, like, they used to like allude to other characters, like in the Netflix show, like in the one episode of Luke Cage, they were like, "Do you think you're as strong as that big green monster?" Like, they couldn't say the Hulk.
Yeah,
but now they can say that. They can do that now, and I think that it's so cool to see that these characters can now interact with this larger universe. And Daredevil might possibly be in Spider-Man.
Yeah, and a lot of that was because Jeff Loeb, who was the head of Marvel Television at the time, he was very adamant about Marvel TV and Marvel Studios, Marvel Films being two completely separate entities.
Stupid.
It's
moron.
Idiotic.
Buffoon.
But, but all is right in the world now. And now having these characters be able to interact with, the bigger MCU at large, like having characters that are, Avengers adjacent with Tony Dalton be able to be in the show, having Daredevil should be able to show up in Spider-Man, and of course Punisher showing up in Brand New Day later this year. It also has an element that I think has kind of been neglected in the Marvel universe for a while, and that's the use of secret identities, because outside of Peter Parker and Matt Murdock, that really isn't a thing anymore. And I like that this show, they're able to use that to build tension, because the way the premiere episode ends, it ends with Daredevil being, caught dead to rights, getting his mask stripped off. Woo! And one of my favorite writing tips is, like, a thing that I think I heard about Resident Evil is write your character into a situation you can't figure a way out of and go from there.
Like it's this this ending I was
teasing the return of
Bullseye, which so a couple things
Dex can't just flirt like a normal person anyway.
I mean, as disturbed as he is, there's no fucking way. Couple things I really dug from the finale. Love
the way I feel about Oh, sorry, Hunter, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say a couple things I love from the premiere. Pardon me. Not what I love from finale. We'll save that for 7 weeks.
Let's not do that.
We just spoil all this.
I see a little red dot on your forehead. I think Kevin Feige's outside.
You'll see just a throwing knife just ricochet throughout his.
Yeah, you just see Bullseye just come in and like take him out. No spoiling. They take their spoilers very seriously here.
Right, but
we actually have another Tom Holland. That's actually not Tom Holland. It's a clone. They're doing the Clone Saga.
Oh my god! But I love the opening. The opening action scene is fucking fantastic, and it does a great job of setting the tone for what this season is going to be like. I I really dig that Karen and Matt are actually like together, which, you know, good for them. I mean, if I was hanging out around Deborah Ann Wool that much, I'd be trying to hit too.
And also, we know how big of a slut Matt Murdock is.
Oh, he's such
if I saw Deborah Ann Wool, I would totally walk up to her and try a D&D pickup line. I know it would never work. She's way out of my league. But like, I'd just be like, I'm a paladin with 18 hit points and 7 charisma.
Oh, dude.
Just roll it. You know?
But then the way that you see Kingpin, how he's gotten all these people who are just drinking the Kool-Aid, it's scary. Like, it's genuinely terrifying to watch. James Gandolfini's son, I'm blanking on
Michael
his name.
Gandolfini.
He's wonderful. He's so goddamn good. Like he's like a homie in the Penguin, where you're just like, he's believing
he's like the character of Vic in the Penguin.
Yeah, like he's so enamored by this man and what he believes in. Like, he believes in what Fisk believes in, but it's this. But he has this fascinating partnership with this friend of his who
BB Yorick, who we saw last season, and obviously has connections to a beloved character from the original run of the show with Ben Urich.
Yeah, which, if there's one thing I wish, like, I really do wish I think if Marvel is working with Sony at that point in terms of Spider-Man, I don't think he's killed off. Like, I think that's something that they don't do. Credit to Marvel for being able to pivot, because that was one of those things when they got Spider-Man. It's like, damn, I wish you hadn't killed him off. But I really like the way that they're using BB, and I think she's a very interesting character. Without getting too much into it, because obviously there's more to come, I really like what they're doing with the therapist. She's just like straight up, like, just cunt. Fucking cunt. And I say that and I say that because her level
is
of
going through it, but in a way that I feel like when Daredevil is at its best, you understand that these people are monsters, but you always have at least a semblance of an understanding of why.
Nope, absolutely not. No sympathy for me, because straight up, they just show her just take, like, she's about to go in and do her job, and she just goes like, "Oh, let's take these pills so I can completely numb my conscience because I know what I'm doing is fucking wrong." It's like, oh, cool. You're a bitch and you don't deserve to be loved. I'm happy, Matt.
Damn.
Damn.
No, she's terrible. Like, that was the first, like,
keep in mind, this guy has more context with her. Okay.
To be fair,
to play Daredevil's advocate.
Yeah, she went through something, completely traumatic in the first season, where she, had a patient who turned out to be a serial killer muse and was about to make her one of his next victims. And she got killing.
Whatever. Have you heard of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? There was just an alien war in California.
Right.
But you almost died. Boo.
So what? She got.
I got abducted by aliens, said Kevin Bacon. Okay.
So what? She got choked a little bit. In my experience, wasn't like choked. I mean,
whoa! All right, I am not part of this. I am not part of that.
I mean, what? But she just, the way she's talking to him in particular too, is so, like, it's so condescending. Like she kind of sounds like how Jessica Alba reads all her dialogue, but it's intentional. You know, like. Because, like, you know how, like, Jessica Alba, she's, like, trying to recite dialogue, it's kind of sounds like she's talking to a kid. Like, yes, that is where the block goes. It's like, bitch, can you go to an acting class? Like, that's how she's talking to him during this psych eval.
What you're talking about.
And you're just like, oh, like it's, yeah, she's terrible,
Right.
but I'm excited to see where things go with her. And to play back to the Nick's devil's advocate slightly, she's put in such an incredibly insane position being a therapist to Fisk and Vanessa in that first season, that the moment she didn't say I'm not cool with this, she was kind of just trapped. Like because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, say no after you've heard 3 therapy sessions worth of all their shit? Like, they're gonna be like, yeah, you think we're gonna let you leave, bitch, of all the stuff yours? like you're locked in now. So I mean, she should have just said no from jump, but I think that's where ego comes in and all that. But it's off to a great start.
Yeah, and
I feel like going forward, if we say we're going to play devil's advocate, we have to say Daredevil's advocate.
I think that's fair.
I guess like we've had to say that 3 times, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So getting back to the season 2 premiere, everything that I felt like was a highlight of the season, especially in the first and the 8th and 9th episode. All of that is back in spades. The action, it has this visceral feeling that it feels like it's more mean-spirited than it was on the Netflix days in some ways.
Yeah.
Because they're on Disney Plus, they aren't as beholden to like the rating system on there. And if Netflix Daredevil felt like it was like an FX show back in like the 2000s, this is an FX show now where they aren't afraid to get bloody and gory. They aren't afraid to drop F-bombs, and all of it feels natural. And all of it, I think it's a great premiere, and I can't wait to see what comes next in this season.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's
Inserts.
I'm really excited for the journey that y'all are going. I'm rewatching it I'm gonna rewatch it weekly too. But I just I'm really excited for people to discover what this show has to say and what it does. And no spoilers, obviously, but I will say the action for me works better in this season because there were just some bits last season you could tell like you have to use CG here, but it looked a little like at points. This season, that's not as much of a case. So the action scenes better refined in this nice middle ground between the grittiness of the Netflix show and the MCU proper. So I really like action wise where it's going, or it's going to continue to go. So
yeah, and shout out to Philip de Silveira, who was one of the stunt coordinators during the Netflix run, and he came back late in production on season 1 of the original show. And it definitely shows when he had his hands in it in the first season, and even more so now.
Yeah. Insert comment right here about show.
Schuby is behind on the show, but
I am very much here for Invincible though, because we are talking about that too, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so that don't worry, I am all in, guys. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I totally forgot that you asked about Daredevil. I remember you asking me about Invincible. I think that's all I saw, and I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, no worries. I brought on Daredevil because it came out this week, and I kind of want to do like weekly breakdowns of all the comic shows because we're in a rare time when we're gonna have Invincible,
a bunch of stuff.
Daredevil,
Spider Noir,
The Boys, Spider Noir, all of them like airing concurrently, and I'm eating good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm eating good, and I for people who are watching that don't know, I do another review channel called The Afternoon Tune that I do with my co-host, but we usually wait for shows to wrap up their seasons before doing reviews on it, and I like talking about them week to week.
Yeah,
because it's fun, and also it gives me a place.
It's always a good time to theorize too, and it's like you get to sit down and you get to talk about it. Like that's why I'm glad that we're doing episodic stuff now. You know, like when Netflix would drop all of Stranger Things or they would drop all of whatever show they were doing at once, there was no time to breathe in between episodes because everyone would binge it and then spoil it. But now we get to watch an episode, talk about it like we are now, and theorize what's going to happen next. And then if our thing comes true, booyah, we get to celebrate. But if we didn't, it's just like, oh, didn't see that coming, and we get to talk about it. And I think that that's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, very much so. I love the feeling of watching something and being able to and having to wait week to week to get the payoff that I'm looking forward to. I'm especially liking that in a show like The Pitt now. But
yeah,
back to Daredevil Born Again. Hunter, do you have any thoughts before we wrap up the discussion on Daredevil?
I will simply say that if you are a fan of this premiere, the show just gets better from here.
Nice.
I personally, there's an episode coming up that has an opening that is, for me, one of my favorite fight scenes. It's a top 12 MCU fight scene for me, and I will just and you'll know it when you get to it. I'll just leave it there. But
as long as he has his double D's on his chest, I'm happy.
Nice. Who doesn't love a pair of double D's? But
yeah, do we get to see the Charlie cheeks? Like, that's all I need.
Do we get to see his staff? But
where's Master Stick when you need him? Okay.
Well played.
I'll be seeing myself out now. Thank you.
Kind of weird how easy that was for both of us. No, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for people to discover this. I will just one last thing I will say is don't be a dick about this. Let people enjoy this. Don't spoil. Like I know the internet is the internet, but goddamn, give people like a day before you're just like, oh my god, this happened. It's like easy. It's like,
well, let me say this, okay? I remember when season 1 premiere happened and Foggy got shot. that took like half a second for people to start posting about it. I haven't heard much about some of the stuff, like Charlie being unmasked at the end of this. This was the first time I heard about that. That's why that was my genuine knee-jerk reaction when I went woo, like that, because that was how I responded. So it looks like people are listening.
So far so good.
But if we see the Charlie cheeks, we're gonna hear about it.
Yeah. So far, Daredevil Born Again season 2, it's back, and it's better than ever.
Heck yeah.